Okay, we'll start out with some opening comments from Coach.
Yeah, I first want to start out with something that's way bigger than tonight's game or the game of basketball itself. And for Badger Nation, those that are out there tuning in, listening, if you can, whatever your philosophical, spiritual mode is that you do, or if you can send some good thoughts and prayers to Walt McGrory's way, and Walt, if you're listening or watching anything, or your family, just let you know that we love you here in Madison and are thinking about you and praying for you. So, if, like I said, I'm hoping this reaches Walt. I think it will. But if all of you out there listening can keep him at your forefront and send a well wish or a thought his way, it'd be greatly appreciated. Regarding the game, obviously defensively we're a work in progress. Anyone can see that. I thought in the second half things started to, I found a group that really, I think, played well together and covered for each other and did some good things. Obviously John Blackwell, Kamari McGee, I thought gave us great contributions off the bench. Tyler Wall, really efficient, to play, to only take 5 shots and end up with 18 points. The same thing for John with 18 minutes and 18 points. It's really efficient basketball. Until you get to the line 40 times, we knew we wanted to play through the paint and play on the rim, and we did. And credit to Robert Morris for knocking down some shots. Some were our undoing or miscues. Some of them, they hit some tough shots, and you gotta, obviously you acknowledge that when that happens, and then you try to correct the ones that if we made mistakes on them. But again, keep pushing and battling in the right direction. The group has been resilient. They bounced back Wednesday after getting home at 3 in the morning on Tuesday or Wednesday morning from Providence, and with some plane issues, and there was no feeling sorry for yourself. The Coach Gard's going to make us practice again and hard and get after them, and they responded really well. And same thing on yesterday. And like I said, just proud of the guys that how they just. I always tell them, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So when I call on your name, you're ready to go, and you're not in a different frame of mind. So thought we did some better things in the second half, and were able to finish out the game. Questions?
Go ahead, then Jeff.
Nick, go ahead.
Hey Greg, obviously John had a major impact, like you referred to, scoring. I can think of a couple possessions he kept alive on the glass. Just what stood out to you the most, and specifically, how is it so impressive for a player so young, so early in his career?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with John that jumped out early is just, and I saw this when watching him in high school and AAU, just his defensive awareness, puts him in, he rarely gets out of position. Now we got to work on not fouling jump shooters, 3-point shooters, but the awareness, I think, his head's on a swivel. He's always typically in a stance. Offensively, he has a nose for the ball. He's seen, get us some extra possessions, and that's not the first time he's done that. He's just efficient. He doesn't, for the most part, doesn't take bad shots. I thought he got better tonight at playing off 2 feet in the paint and getting to the free throw line. So those are all steps that things maybe a week ago he didn't do as well, specifically playing when he did drive it to the paint, playing off 2 feet and getting contact and getting to the free throw line. So there's a lot of things he's got to get better at, but I think the thing that gets young guys on the floor is on the defensive end. You can't, you have to be reliable and dependable to, and he's, like I said, his awareness is beyond his freshman class that he's in.
Jeff.
Greg, kind of on the flip side of that, you mentioned the other night at Providence, a guy like Klesman has to stop fouling. Like there was a sequence where he fouled, trying to reach in. Is he trying to do too much, and is Connor just in a funk on both ends of the court right now because he couldn't keep his man in front of him? And what do you need to get?
Yeah, I think Connor's just, we got to get back in a rhythm, and I probably poorly answered Ben's question out there in Providence the other night about Connor, and he's practiced more consistently here lately, and I put him over on the scout team the last 2 days and let him really run around and get, get the back loose, and it's good. He's fine. He just needs to get back into a rhythm. That happens, and I've done that in the past to get more reps, feel the ball, run around, get a lot of shots up. So for him, I thought he was cutting and moving better in practice. But defensively, obviously, we've got to continue to help him be better at keeping the ball in front of him, and it's balance, it's technique, it's so he knows it, and he knows that, hey, you have to be able to guard, you have to be able to guard. So we'll help him get better with that.
Is Max trying to do too much right now?
I think just I don't know about too much. It's just don't. I guess that's a good way to put it, Jeff. Just don't. You don't need to hit the home run play every. You don't have to steal a pass. Just stay solid. Just stay solid. And if you're solid long enough, you'll wear them into taking a bad shot or turning it over. We don't have to, like I said, try to hit the home run on every play, and the reaching and slapping, and it's a habit he's got to break. And so.
In the back, coach.
Greg, you guys
Yeah.
were over 6 from behind the 3-point line in the first half, but then shot 3-7 in the second half. What was your message to the team about 3-point shooting at the half, if there was a message?
There wasn't a message. No, we didn't talk about much offense at halftime.
What's talking about?
The other end of the floor.
Better from here, coach.
Greg, you guys were narrowly rebounded. Just how would you evaluate, narrowly out-rebounded, excuse me, how would you evaluate your team's performance on the glass against what was a pretty small lineup out there?
That really, with shots bouncing every which way, there was a couple of missed blockouts, but by and large, I don't get caught up into what the numbers say. Number one, if they're banging in threes, you aren't rebounding those makes. So, and for us, we shoot 53%. So there was a couple here or there. Some of them were also tipped that long shot, long rebound. We collapsed too much, but for the most part, a decent job. I'll break down the tape and get more specific, but I don't think that wasn't something that I was overly concerned with. But maybe I'll find something on tape that'll give me a different thought.
Go ahead.
Mike.
Obviously, you want to take advantage of the size and go to the interior a lot, but did you feel like before that one late run, when the three-pointer became a little bit more part of it, that maybe the offense was a little one-note, you were trying to force it in there a little bit?
Well, when we got it in there, we did some good things. We had 42 points in the paint, shoot 40 free throws. That's, that means you're attacking the basket and playing in the paint. And that's a good recipe that if you're not shooting it well, you can still score points by putting the ball near the basket and getting fouled. So to have 42 points in the paint and shoot 40 free throws, that's a pretty good combination. Heck, score 78 points on 66 possessions. Again, offense, we got to get better defensively. But I like the fact that they stayed true to throwing the ball inside and taking advantage of what was our advantage. Ben.
Go ahead.
Greg, you guys chart everything. Tonight aside, have you liked the looks that your guards have taken from the perimeter this year? For the most part, I know some have been rushed in certain situations, but for the most part, have you just liked the looks and they just haven't fallen to this point?
I would say there were some tonight that because we had such an advantage and because we were in the double bonus and by the 13-14 minute mark, why would you crank them up from the perimeter if you don't have to? You can just pound it away and then get the better threes. I'll break down every shot and see, but when we get in the bonus, we got to keep attacking that paint and keep fouling guys out.
Right up front here, coach.
Yeah.
AJ Storr took a pretty high volume of shots tonight, shooting 3 of 10 from the field. Obviously, not a lot of those falling. What do you think about his development so far this year and him continuing that high volume of shots in a game like tonight?
He's learning. He's learning what's a good shot, what's not a good shot. He's learning how to play off 2 feet in the paint and what the result is most of the time if you don't against, he's learning the defensive concepts and the attention to detail all the time. So I think for him, I've always viewed first-year transfers, just like I did with Kamari a year ago, as freshmen. They're learning, you know, they haven't been in college that long, and they're completely learning a new system. So for, you know, any transfer coming into the first year, the attention to detail that we require constantly specific on the defensive end, and then offensively he can get there. Just let's get to the free throw line. You know, he's at the basket, and we can make life a little easier on ourselves by playing off 2 feet and getting contact, and maybe not as taking as high degree of difficulty as shots.
One more question for Coach, go ahead.
Coach, with a player like Kamari McGee playing 16-46 tonight, do you feel like you have more depth at your disposal on the roster this year, and that we might see the playing of the hot hand a little more often going on the stretch?
Yeah, I tell them all the time. I don't, you know, I want to make sure that we have a positive outcome for Wisconsin, and whoever that is, you know, if it's different guys at different nights, yes, we do have depth with this team that Kamari gave us. Kamari practiced well for 2 days, really well, and I felt he could give us a little juice, and he did that. And I think, you know, making some adjustments there with getting Chucky off the ball a little bit, and off the ball defensively too, where he could chase screens and stay attached with guys. And Kamari was able to heat up the ball and do some good things defensively, and it takes a team. So it doesn't matter who it is, as long as it's Wisconsin and somebody with one of our jerseys on. That's where we want the positive contributions from.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Oh, good? All right, thank you.